see, record. Welcome back after 2 weeks of not seeing each other. It seems like forever. Can you look through your books really, really quickly while we're waiting for another couple of people? I think if you could look for some ideas that you found. Let me get my book. Are you fully charged? Can you find your favorite quote? And maybe it was in your assignment that you turned in. So just click on copy and paste one of those and put it in the EQQs on the class notes. Can you do that? And then that'll help Jolene a little bit with a discussion she's going to lead. But while you're doing that, and by the way, can you believe that I got some, what's it called? Poison oak. Can you believe that? We're in the middle of having snowstorms and I got poison oak doing yard work. It's crazy. Okay. I know you're looking for your EQQs, but let's start with a prayer. And Jacoby, will you say the prayer for us?
Our dear Heavenly Father, we're so thankful for this day. We're so thankful for all of our many blessings. We're so thankful for all that Thou hast given us. Please bless that as we are in class today, that we will have the Spirit to be with us to know what to say, and please bless that we can learn something in class today and take it into our daily lives. Please bless that we'll all be safe in our various locations, and that whatever we do for the rest of the day, that we'll have the Spirit to be with us. So we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Okay. So we got some of the cameras back on. So I know you're looking for EQQs, but tell me, what did you guys do the last 2 weeks? Did anybody do anything fun or scary or hard or challenging? Jacoby?
Last week, our stake did missionary week. So we went to a kickoff fireside Sunday, and then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we went to the training center and learned how to prepare the first discussion lesson, and we had to follow all the mission rules and stuff. And so that was pretty fun.
Oh my gosh. Did you wear a name badge?
For the first couple days, they just had labels, because the stickers for the badges are probably more expensive. And so then we just had a sticker for the last day that said basically a name badge.
Oh, that is so fun. So how old did you have to be to participate in that? What were the ages?
High school ages, so freshman to senior.
Which is not, or is Braxton, did you do it? Yeah, I didn't think so. So next year.
Yep, I'll be able to.
Yeah, that's fun. Anybody else do anything fun last couple weeks? Or hard? Cambry.
My ward went ice fishing.
Ice fishing, where'd you go?
Manaway.
Okay, that's way down south, right?
Well, I think so. I'm not sure, but I don't know how to get there. But
it's spelled Mantua, right? So weird how we in Utah have these funny names, and then we just decide that we want to call them a certain way. Manaway. And it's spelled this way. I'll put it in the chat. It's so funny. It's Mantua. Who in their right mind would call that Manua? No, now I can't remember it. Manua? Anyway. Cool. Let me quickly send a text. Is Ella coming? Okay. That's fun. Did you catch anything? Cambry, I should ask.
I was the only one that caught anything.
You were the only one that caught anything? What kind of fish did you catch?
Oh, rainbow trout.
A rainbow trout. Was it big enough to eat?
I let it go. It was 10 inches though.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Wow, that's cool. So what was the purpose? Was it with a family, friends?
Well, it was like with our ward, but like no one showed up. But like this one kid, and then my friend, and then it was just like my family. So it's kind of fun. We just went out basically with my family. So.
That's fun. And you were the champion. Ah, that's fun. Okay, anybody else do anything fun or exciting or hard? Bryn.
I moved.
Yeah. Where did you move to?
We only moved like 15 minutes away, so it wasn't that bad, but like still it was like we had like it depends, like 2 truckloads, like big U-Hauls with a couple of like carloads. I mean, we do have like 8 people in our family, but still it's like whoa.
Lots of truck. Yeah. So remind me why you were moving.
Just to get closer to my dad's work.
Ah,
It
okay.
was really annoying, but that's okay. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, hard thing make us better, right?
So your last house, were you just renting or was it something you bought?
So it was actually something we bought, and it's kind of really annoying because, we knew it wasn't going to be our forever home, but like, I didn't know that. So, yeah, but I had some good friends, but then we just moved. It's kind of funny because we've literally, from the time that we moved, almost exactly, it would have been a year. So like we moved exactly a year from last week. So yeah.
And then you also moved into that one. Is that what you're talking about? When did you move from Twin Falls?
Yeah, so I moved from Twin Falls a year ago.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then you moved here to this new
Mhm.
one a year later. Oh my gosh. So you've lived in 3 houses in practically about 1 year.
Yeah.
Crazy. And you're having trouble with the internet. I noticed that you put on a private chat to me. Maybe you could try to put on your camera. If not, if it doesn't work, then yeah. So
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. I'll try to get it like working. My mom's trying to figure it out for a second because anyways, but yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I'm so glad that you can join us. So who else are we missing? I think it's tripping me up that Jacoby and Braxton are in the same camera because I was expecting like 8 little cameras. I think we're missing Ella. Is there anybody else? And Naomi. She's not feeling very good. Is there anybody else we're missing? I think that's it, right? Well, okay. Anybody else want to say anything that you did the last couple of weeks that was hard, challenging? Oh, Molly. Oh, thank you. Okay, thank you. I don't know why, but my brain kind of shut down after 2 weeks, but okay. It looks like people are getting their stuff up. That's going to be great. So keep working on that. And let's talk about our Live It. So one of the reasons we have a leadership class is not just to learn things, but to actually practice them. And Jolene and I would attest to that it's an ongoing, lifelong process. And if you learn to practice things when you're younger, it'll be easier for you to practice them when you're older. Why? Does anybody know why? Go ahead, Bryn.
I kind of feel like it's just it kind of is like when it's easier to learn a language when you're younger. Probably I guess it's just because then I think it's also because you haven't done that habit your whole life, so it's not as like familiar. And so if you learn it young, you can change yourself, and so you won't be doing that habit like for your whole life.
Yeah. Yes. Anything else? Does anybody else want to add to that? Why do you want to learn to change when you're younger? And why is it harder to do if you never learned to change when you're younger? Is anybody? Yeah. So Bryn is right on. And then there's another aspect of it. Just the idea of wanting to change is also a habit. If we never had to change when we were younger, it's not going to come later. Does anybody know anybody in their life that they're older and you wonder, did they ever never learn how to like get better? Does anybody know anybody like that? Maybe you don't yet, but I do. I've seen some people that are a little older than me in their 60s. They don't think they need to change. And we all need to change. Anyway, okay, so the live it was, who remembers what the live it was? Okay, the live it's on page 53. Oh, Bryn.
It's do you want me to read it or like okay, yeah.
Yeah. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Choose the 3 mental strengths you struggle with the most, return to those chapters and go through the suggestions, questions, and activities of each. Choose 3 actions you can take under each mental strength to become stronger in that area. Put these in your schedule and work on them.
Yeah. Okay. So right there in my bathroom, I can see a little yellow sticky note of my 2 things that I wanted to work on the last couple of weeks. And one, I did very well. And the other one was too hard. I need to continue. So I'm leaving it up. But how did you guys do? Anybody want to share? Bryn.
To be honest, it's been a really crazy week for me, so I didn't really get to do it very well, and so I'm going to work on it this week. So, yeah.
Okay, so you're just like me, yeah. Last Monday, my mom she fell really, really badly. Broke her nose. She had some brain bleeding, and she was in the hospital for 2 days. And then when she came out, I know, thanks for that reaction. Oh, I love the reactions. It was really hard, and I spent a lot of time with her last week. So one of them had to do with serving others and my attitude. And the other one was my other mental strength that I struggle with is I keep doing the same mistakes over and over with something. And I kept doing it, and I didn't work very hard on that one, I guess. So anyway, we all have hard weeks sometimes, don't we? Anybody else want to share what they worked on, what their practice was? I feel so lonely. I like it when you guys turn on your cameras. All right. Well, okay. So good job. Let's turn the time over to Jolene with a discussion on, are you fully charged?
Okay, and I wanted to tell you guys really quickly that the 2 things that I wanted to work on, one of them is being a people pleaser. And my kids will probably laugh at this because they see me being a people pleaser all the time and are like, Mom, seriously. But with my crazy schedule and all the things I need to get done in a day, I've noticed how there definitely are still moments where I struggle, but more often I am noticing that I'm doing better at saying no and recognizing that the most important things have to happen in my day. And that includes spending time with my kids. So other people have to kind of figure it out. So anyways, that's just my thing that I worked on this last couple of weeks. So let's start with our EQQs. Does anybody, it looks like we only have 3 up so far, but would anyone like to be the first one to share what their EQQ is? Brian?
Okay, so mine was like a little excerpt when they did the study. And it's plants, art, or pictures of loved ones can increase productivity up to by 32%. This is why companies like Google encourage employees to make their workplace feel like home, even if it looks like a mess to others. And I really like that one because I think that is so like true. Just because like when you're, because also I also really liked the book because it talked about this a lot, just like when you're focused on why you're working, not just like, oh my gosh, I'm just working, I wake up and just do nothing, you know. But I think it's cool that they have like their picture, like I'm working for this person, I'm making it so they're able to, you know, have food or whatever.
Yeah, I agree. Something that I do when I work is listen to classical music. And my kids are like, Mom, how can you think with that on? But somehow it kind of gives you that peace of mind feeling for me. And so it helps me to work better. So it's that same kind of thing, you know, when you're seeing beautiful art or you're seeing pictures of your loved ones, it puts you in that right frame of mind of why you're doing what you're doing and helps you feel that at peace feeling to know that you're doing what you need to be. That's a really great thought, Bryn. Let's see. We have Braxton, Cambry, and I don't know who wrote the one in black, but Braxton, do you want to be next?
So mine's in chapter 9 of the reading, and I don't know where it is in chapter 9, but only we can choose what we say to others, and maybe what we say will change their life. It doesn't say exactly that, but like we can either hurt people or we can change people, and not like force them to change, but be a very good example and help them. So that's what I got out of chapter 9. And I know we weren't supposed to read chapter 9, but that's one that
That's okay. The whole book is a good book. I have loved this book and I've enjoyed rereading this book. And it's true. What you're saying is true, that our example can affect other people, for good or bad. So it's kind of our choice. Who do we want to be, right? What kind of meaning do we want to have for those around us? That's a really great quote, Braxton. Bryn, go ahead.
I really like that, Braxton, just because like I think that is so true because no one can force you to say things. And like when you're mad at someone, it's funny because I overheard my mom teaching my sister this. But anyways, if you're mad at someone, like you can respond in so many different ways. But then I think it's just interesting how sometimes you're like, oh, it's their fault. They made me mad, but you're the only one who can choose to be mad. So
that is so true. And it can make or break the rest of your day, right? If you're choosing to be mad, how does that make you feel for the rest of the day? Yucky. Okay. Oh, Erin or Cambry, which one would like to go first? Cambry?
So mine was on page 15, and it says happiness without meaning characterizes a reality. Sorry. Happiness without meaning characterizes a relative shadow, self-absorbed, or even selfish life. And I like that one because I feel like when you add meaning into happiness, it creates joy. Because I feel like joy has more depth than what happiness does. And so putting meaning in happiness, I feel creates joy.
Yeah. How many of you guys have heard stories about people who are incredibly wealthy and yet they feel like they don't have enough? And so they're always absorbed with having to get more, to keep working, to Julie, did you want to say something, or are you just raising your hand to say that that's somebody? Yeah. So how often are those people, because they're in that pursuit for happiness, and instead of finding meaning in what they're doing, it's like they're one of those little gerbils or hamsters on that spinning wheel. It's never ending, is it? They just keep trying and they never get where they're supposed to be going because they have no meaning with what they're trying to do. I love that quote, Cambry. That's such a great quote, and really helps us think about where's my priorities, right? You guys think about that? Like, why is this important to me today? I don't know what's prompting me to tell you guys this, but every day I write down things that I'm grateful for. I write down 5 things every day, and I kind of try and change them up because obviously there's a lot more than 5 things I could be grateful for. And then I write down some affirmations. And my number one affirmation that I write is that I'm creating a house of God. And every time I write that, I sit and ponder, what am I going to do to create a house of God today? And that's what creates meaning in my life every single day. Because every day it could be something different, but I know that that's the kind of atmosphere I want to create in my home. So you guys are welcome to do something similar where you write down an affirmation and it helps you ponder what's going to bring meaning into my day today. So think about it and think about if that's something you'd like to do. Erin, would you like to share your EQQ?
All right. So mine says, the pursuit of meaning, not happiness, is what makes life worthwhile. And I like that because it makes me think like, if you're like pursuing happiness, it's more in it for yourself. You're trying to get your own happiness. Whereas if you're in the pursuit for meaning, it could be like service or leaving behind something that will affect later generations or something like that. So yeah, I really like that quote.
Yeah, I had actually had the thought to ask this question earlier today about why is meaning more important than happiness? And you just totally answered that question for me. Like, that it really is. If we're pursuing happiness, it's really not very helpful, is it? And it doesn't make life very worthwhile. But when we pursue meaning, it changes everything. So can you guys tell me, what are some of those motivators that keep us going, that help us keep this idea of what is meaningful in our life at the forefront of our minds? What are those motivators that are helping you guys? I know this is kind of a tough question, so that's why I'm letting you guys ponder it for just a minute to really think about what's motivating you. Oh, sure, Gobi, I can repeat the question. I kind of rambled a little bit in the middle of the question, so that probably didn't help you guys. What are the things that motivate you in finding meaning in every day of your life? Go ahead, Kobe.
I think family helps motivate you to find your true meaning in life because they just help you to be your very best, I guess. And yeah.
I think that's very true. Just like Bryn's quote, how having pictures of loved ones, that helps gives us meaning into why am I going to work? Why am I torturing myself? Why am I, you know what I mean? Like it really helps us understand that it's for these loved ones that we are doing those things. That's a great one, Kobe. What other motivators do we have? Braxton?
So like for me, every morning I get up pretty early, but like you have to make the choice that today is going to be a great day. You have two choices. You can either say it's going to be a great day or it's going to be a really crappy day. And you can either change somebody's life or like you're going to do nothing. So every time I get out of bed, I say, I'm going to go change something. I'm going to make somebody feel happy, somebody feel useful and loved and cared for. So like, it doesn't matter what, like we need to wake up for our family. We need to wake up for others because there's people out there that they don't want to wake up because they don't feel secure about themselves. They're not sure. And we impact people's lives. Like we really can change. So like it doesn't matter. Maybe it's just a smile. Like that can be the simplest thing.
Sounds like service is a huge motivator for you to serve others. Bryn, go ahead.
I think a motivator for myself is I want to choose to do school good, like if that makes sense. Like I want to put it all in because in the end I want to get a degree and I want to become a nurse. And I think it is a big motivator for me to just like, to have that goal in mind. I think because goals help me a lot, to be like, I want to be able to run a 5K in like however so many minutes. So then I work hard on that and then I'm able to reach my goal.
Yeah, those goals really help us both in short term and long term to really get a vision and catch the idea of what we're trying to accomplish. That's a really great idea. I love that. How does focusing on less help you guys accomplish more? Kobe?
I think focusing on less helps me accomplish more because then I'm not like in a million different places trying to do a million different things. I am focused on just very few things and I'm able to put more into those things.
Yeah, that's a great one. I always feel scatterbrained if I try and focus on too many things. Do you guys ever feel that? Like you almost don't even know what to focus on because there's so many things to focus on. And so if you narrow down the priorities and say, okay, this is the first thing I need to focus on. This is the second, this is, and then it's like, I'm not going to worry about the rest. I'm just going to focus on this right now. Julie, go ahead. You're muted.
I just have to share. Thank you. Because of the reading that we had to do this week, and it made me realize that I have going what Jacoby's saying, I have way too much on my plate. And so I wanted to make a change, and I made that change yesterday with my schedule. And I Marco Polo'd Jolene last night because I wanted her to know that this reading, this assignment really helped me realize I have got to do something about my life. So I made a schedule, and already last night I could sleep better. This morning I got up and worked on my schedule, and I see what I'm going to do for the rest of the day. And I actually have more free time. I can see more free time now coming up. And so, we think these books are really awesome and they've got some really good ideas, but we forget that if we don't go back to those books, if we don't remember these principles that we're talking about, we can be like me, like forgetting. And here I am so old, and I'm still realizing we've got to go back to these principles. So I'm really grateful that we got to study this week and that I made my change. So anyway, that's what I wanted to share.
I love that, Julie. And it just reminds us of what you said earlier about how this changing thing is a lifelong process. And especially in, you guys read The Mission Driven Life at the beginning of the year, and it talked about the 4 foundational laws. And then after that, there were the 3 other laws. I can't remember what they're called. But those 4 foundational laws are ones that you come back to all the time. It's a constant cycle of we work on things, and sometimes we do forget and need to go back and remember. And other times it's like, okay, I've improved a little, but now what else can I do to improve? So you're constantly on that cycle of getting better and better and better. And that's exactly what God brought us to this earth to do, was to learn and make those changes. And it just feels so good when we can recognize those things that we're doing. I love that. I just have one more question that I've been thinking about. So you guys are in this learning process, and you're recognizing these little live it moments where it's like, oh, I'm going to work on this one little thing. But how do you guys feel like this is helping you attach these little daily things to our broader mission of the big picture? Does that make sense? How is this helping you? I think this is maybe a little hard question, just because sometimes we don't know what our mission is to know how it's helping us see something bigger than what we're focusing on right now, which is okay, because that's part of what we're doing, is working on creating a better us so that we can find our mission and figure out what is my purpose. But so I'll just share maybe a little bit of what I've done. So it took me a really long time the first time I went through MDM level 1, and you guys are helping me review all those things that I have learned through that process. And it just has been this really great reminder of these principles that I'm learning to live by. And my mission, obviously right now, is being a mom. And that's not always obvious for everyone. Even for women, sometimes job is their mission, sometimes mom is their mission, sometimes it just really depends. And so for me, I actually grew up thinking that I never wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. Are you crazy? I'll go nuts if I have to be home all the time. And it was before I started MDM that I realized I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. But that doesn't mean that I felt a purpose or a drive for what I was doing. And it's as I've learned these principles that have helped me to really like take it all in and say, oh my gosh, this is what I'm doing. And this is why, is so that I can help my kids be prepared for what they're going to have to be doing for their missions. And if I don't prepare them or help them, who will? So it's just giving me so much more purpose in knowing what I need to do. And I know that for you guys, that's probably really not relatable right now because you have no plans on being a mom or a dad anytime soon. And I get it. I totally get it. But what I'm saying is that sometimes just focusing on these little principles helps get us to the point where we can see what is my bigger picture. So just kind of keep that rolling in your mind, because it will help you as you keep growing and changing to recognize what your focus is supposed to be on.
Thank you so much, Jolene. Okay, you guys said, and maybe Jolene said it, that you think that meaning is more important than happiness. We're going to prove it wrong, or we're going to prove it right now. We're going to practice the 5 types of questions. You guys have heard there were 5 types of questions, right? The first one is the knowledge questions, which is so easy because you just go and get the answer from where it's written. And what I did on the class notes is, can you see I've got 5 types of questions activity right here. And I'm asking, what is meaning? But then down here, I say, what is happiness? And both of those are knowledge questions. So over the next few minutes, excuse me, we're going to look up. If you go down below this, you can see that I am going to share my screen, not shore my screen. Share. Okay. I'm going to share this. And it's nicer. Oh, did we lose somebody? Who did we lose? Bryn. Dang. Okay, she'll come back. She's good at coming back. Okay, so I've got the 5 types of questions here for meaning, and I've got the 5 types of questions. You know what I forgot to do is put, whoops, I forgot to put meaning here. And then 5 types of questions for happiness. But then down here, I decided to copy down, this is from the 1828 dictionary. Why would I go there? Does anybody know? 1828? Why would it go all the way back to 1828 to get a definition? I mean, it's got to be one of the craziest things. Like, how long ago was 1828? Who wants to do the math in their head? Oh my gosh, you guys are thinking so loudly. I can see you thinking. 204 years? Is that right? Is everybody in agreement? 194? Okay. What do you think? Is it that long ago? Okay. So if that's the case, why am I going to that dictionary to get the meaning of something? Bryn, I love your humility. I just love it. Why? Aaron, why would I go all the way back to not 19, but 1828, do you think?
I have no idea.
Okay. Cambry?
Because wait, can you say the question again?
Yes. Why would I go all the way back to the 1828 dictionary to get the definition of meaning and happiness?
I think it's because we kind of dumbed down our language and what things mean. So going back then to history, we can find some like truer meanings of what it really meant and what things really were.
Wow, I like that. Bryn, do you think she's right? Do you want to add something to that?
I think she said it perfectly.
Okay. Does that sound right to everybody else? So I went online to find meaning here. Let me see. Let me share my screen one more time. I know this is the wrong thing, but let's see. Is it here? Oh, no, that's the 1828. Here it is. Meaning, the thing one intends to convey, especially by language. Okay, or the thing that is conveyed, especially by language. Same thing. Something meant or intended, or something that's significant quality, especially implication of a hidden or special significance. Does any of this mean anything to you? It's kind of dumbed down, like Cambry says. But if you go over here to the 1828, look, meaning having in mind, intending, signifying that which exists in the mind, view, or contemplation as a settled aim or purpose, though not directly expressed. We say this is this or that is not his meaning. Okay, so there's over here, intention, purpose, aim, with reference to a future act. Here's a sentence from something. I am no honest man if there by any good meaning towards you. Okay, so this guy's saying he's intending to not be honest. That's really not a good example, but it's a good example of this kind of intention and purpose and aim. But there's just a lot of stuff in here. So if you look at that yourself, I'm going to stop sharing. If you go ahead and look at that yourself, how would you define what meaning is? Can I get some, like as many brainstorming as we can? Let's just put some things down about what meaning is. Like everybody take off their, like unmute your microphones and just like shout out what you see is meaning. You can do this. I've got your back.
I think like intentions.
Yeah. Thank you, Aaron. Intentions. What else? Help Aaron out. What do you think? Let's like two more words. What else do you see there? Braxton wants to say something. Hey guys. It's right there, right down there underneath everything, what else besides intentions?
If you have meaning, like, wouldn't that mean like you're happy? Like if you feel like you have a meaning here.
Ooh, okay, that is good because that's combining that happiness. So let's say if you have meaning in your life, like if you have intentions, what Aaron says, you have happiness. Does that mean that everything around you is happening beautifully? Probably not, but it means that you've got meaning and purpose, and you're just going to go through all the hard times and you're going to find happiness anyway, right? Yes, I like that. So already we're looking at that meaning might be more important than happiness, but who knows? Okay, let's ask this question. What is significant? And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, just we can be all on the same page. No pun intended, or pun was intended, actually. Cambry, what is significant to you about having meaning in your life? Like how is that significant to you?
It allows depth.
Ah, depth. Yeah. I like that. What is significant to you, Aaron, about having meaning in your life?
So one thing I didn't get to add was what is meaning is like, I think of like purpose. So then like, if you don't have purpose in your life, what's the point?
It's like, why would you even get up in the morning, right? Yeah, love it. There's been times where I don't want to get up because the purpose is way too big and I want to just hide and just be sick. Have any of you ever done that before? It's like there's way too much responsibility. So I'm going to get sick and just not wake up. Oh, but then you realize I should have gotten up. Has anybody ever done that before? Or am I the only one? Am I the only one? Oh my gosh. Okay, Bryn's done it. Bryn, you and I, we have learned that lesson, right? Okay, so yes, now let's look at those 3 principles on page 52 that are in that little greenish, turquoise-ish box where it says principles. Look at those 3. Which one do you think most closely aligns to what we've been talking about? Oh, wait, I'm on the wrong one. Duh. It should be on page 54. I was going, none of these really, I mean, the last one might, but duh. Okay, page 54, 3 principles in the green box. Which one do you think most closely aligns? I just saw the text. Thank you, Jacoby. Bryn.
I think the third one does because it's saying like focus on life mission fuels our ability to love God and ourselves completely. And so I think it just like what we were talking about, like to have meaning, that like we have to have a meaning to do something. And so I think number 3 could align perfectly.
Is everybody okay with that? Does that look good? Okay, so let's do number 3. And it is focusing on life mission fuels our ability to love God and ourselves completely. Now I have to check to see if anything. Yep. There's always something to fix, isn't there? Focusing on life. It's wanting me to change that, but we're not going to do it. Okay, focusing on life mission fuels our ability to love God and ourselves completely. Okay, where have you seen this principle in books, in movies, or in your life? Who have you seen focused on their life mission and gave them more ability to love God and themselves? Who can you think of? Who have you just now been reading about? Oh my gosh, this morning in my scripture study, who have we been reading about in Come Follow Me? Yes, Jacoby, I saw that. Just say it out loud and tell us what you know about his life and his life mission. How did he focus on his life mission?
We've been learning like the last 3 weeks about Joseph and like his whole family, and it showed us like his life mission is to do what God wants him to do, and it's been kind of cool and like confusing all at the same time.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things in the Bible, isn't there? Yeah. Who else has noticed that in Joseph's life? And what else can you add?
Honestly, I kind of am thinking of Moses, like the prophet Moses, because when God called him like to go tell Pharaoh, he's like, I can't do this, and I think, or he's like, I don't know how you're gonna expect me to do this, but I think if he just accepted that God was gonna help him, and like he just accepted that he needed to go talk to him, so I think that's kind of how focusing on live mission feels. That it was able to fuel him, I guess. I don't know.
Wow. Awesome. So good. So is there anybody else that you can think of? Any movies? Any other books that you can see that somebody just was focusing on their life mission and it helped them love God and themselves better? Can you think of any other? Yeah, Jacoby.
I was thinking, I haven't seen Frozen in a long time, but I thought of Anna in Frozen and how she kind of realized her mission was to help her sister. I mean, it doesn't really talk about God, but it just shows that you can do what you put your mind to, because she was able to go and help her sister come back to Arendelle.
Yeah, I love that. See, we can even see it in Disney movies. And Corey ten Boom Bryn brought up. That's really awesome. Anybody else that we can think of? Something?
Joan of Arc.
Go ahead.
Joan of Arc.
Joan of Arc. Oh my gosh. She loved God and she loved herself. But she lost her life. But did she lose her life really? She gained it in the next life. Okay, sorry. Woo! Woo! Woo. Ah. I haven't been writing any of these things down. Darn it. Anna. How do you spell it? Anna, Joan of Arc, Joseph, should we say of Egypt? Who else did we? Corey ten Boom. Did we say anybody else? So awesome. Okay, what can we do today to live this principle? What are we going to do better today? Just today. How are we going to focus on our life mission to fuel our ability to love God and ourselves completely? Is there some things that we could do that might be common to all of us? think. Yeah, Cambry. And then Jacoby? Oh no, go ahead,
I
Cambry.
think that, I mean, me personally, I haven't found like my life mission yet. And I don't know if like all of us have yet, but examining your motives and like asking yourself like where you want to be in the next like 5 years and like where you're really going, really helps you like find your life mission.
Yeah. There's your intrapersonal coming out right there, Cambry. Which is really good. Not everyone has that strength. And so that's, if you don't have that strength to examine your motives, to look inside yourself, then you might need some help, but it is something that has to be done. Bryn.
So we're answering number 5, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think for me, it's hard for me to like motivate myself a little bit, and like sometimes, so I think I'm gonna try to find like the principle and like the meaning behind what I do, so I can, like do it or motivate myself better. Sorry, that was hard to word.
So you're going to look at the principle more to motivate you, right? Okay, so Bryn just brought up a fabulous, I just saw your hand, Jacoby, just a second. She brought up something that's so important. If you know that it's not your strength to be motivated or to motivate yourself or to even look inside yourself, like it's more of a strength to Cambry. We remember that when she had one of her strengths is interpersonal. If we don't have that strength, we can do just what Bryn said. And that's like, put this principle up and look at it and see it. And that will motivate us, because that principle has power, because it is a truth. Awesome. Jacoby.
I think something that I want to do to help me with my life mission is to just focus on God more. Because when we are focused on God and Christ and have that at the center of our focus, we'll be able to live our lives to the fullest and be able to fulfill our life mission as we do that.
Yeah. So powerfully, that makes me just think of Joseph. He was told to go with his brothers out to take care of the sheep. He focused on God, meaning, knew he's to be honorable to his parents. He did that, and he was sold into Egypt. He focused on God when Potiphar's wife wanted to have him, and he said no. He knew. He just kept making choices, and finally he was able to help his brethren and give them food when they needed it. Bryn.
So I know it's kind of funny, we already have a lot of things, but I was thinking of like as one of the I was thinking Nephi is really good at that, doing that thing, because he, like when he's building the boat, he's just like, he was focusing on God, and he was able to build the boat. And so I think he was able to use something hard, but he was also able to grow himself. Sorry, that was, yeah.
I love that. I'm just going to add, building the boat amidst all the, should we say, persecution from his brothers. And I liked what you said. He was able to grow himself. I like that. Just by focusing on God. I love that. Okay, we're not going to go into this next one, but I think we saw how we use the 5 types of questions, right? So can you all tell me, Do you think meaning is more important than happiness, or is happiness more important than meaning? What do you think? Bren?
To be honest, I kind of feel like they align with each other. Like, I feel like you can't have happiness without meaning. So I kind of feel like meaning might be a little more important, but I don't know. It's hard because at the same time, I kind of feel like they're both almost equally needed. Sorry, I just ran up the stairs.
That's good. What do you guys think? Do you think Bren's onto something? Can you have meaning without happiness? Can you have meaning without happiness? Can you have happiness without meaning? What do you guys think? Jacoby?
I think that you need to know your meaning in life, and that helps you to have happiness, because once you know your meaning, then it's so much easier to live life and be happy. And if you just don't have meaning, it's like, what's the point in being here? You know what I mean?
Yeah, what's the point of being here? Aaron?
I think without meaning, you can have like temporary happiness, but not true happiness.
What is that? Okay, you said something super important. What is that? What is that superficial happiness? What is temporary happiness, everybody? What would you think it is? Bryn?
I think temporary happiness is like like when you have a sugar or something, or even like if you did drugs or whatever. I think that's like temporary happiness where you're trying to force yourself to be happy, but like in the long run, like the next day you're gonna feel like crap, and then you're gonna want to do it again. I think that's kind of why Heavenly Father. Exactly. I think that's kind of why Heavenly Father, like, I mean, I don't know why, but like why he made like spending time with family so fun, because it's like the good things, you know, but like eating chocolate all day probably isn't something good. Like I
Probably
think
not.
it's fun. I think it's fun sometimes, but like you don't want to do it like every day. Oh my gosh, I'm feeling so sad. I've got to eat like my bowl of ice cream with a spoon.
Yes. Okay, we're going to have some time with Jolene. She's going to take you through a little bit of the journaling, and then we'll save maybe 2 to 3 minutes at the end or so to talk about the Live It for next week. Okay, so I'll I'll mute myself and go for it, Jolene.
Okay, you guys, go back to page 54 where you were with the principles. And we're going to go through these journaling questions that they have there. And I hope everybody has their notebooks with them. Do you guys need to grab them, or you got them already?
I'll
Take out of, okay, run really quick, Bryn. But I want you to take a couple of minutes. Let me read them to you guys really quick. And then the first one is, what percentage of my time do I spend on activities that create meaning? That's a really good question. Kind of makes you ponder that intrapersonal. What am I doing today? And the other question is, what actions can I take that will allow me to spend more time on meaningful efforts? So I want you to take just a few minutes and really think through those questions and write down your answers, and then we'll come back and talk about them. ourselves. Okay, you guys, it's been 2 minutes. Does anybody need a little bit more time? Jacoby and Brax, are you raising your hand because you need more time?
Yeah, but if everyone else is done, we can be done.
Does anybody else need more time, or are we good? I think we're good. Okay, who would like to share what they wrote down? What percentage of my time do I spend on activities that create meaning? Brian.
I wrote down like 60 to 70% because sometimes I think like I go to track and I think that helps me, but at the same time I'm like, well, there are some things that I should be doing. Like I think I could definitely read my scriptures better. So I think that could be a part of the percentage that I need to work on, but yeah.
Nice. Yeah, those both track and scriptures. All of these are important, right? Maybe we should think about what are some things that we're doing that don't create meaning. Does anybody have any thoughts? Aaron.
Okay, so that's basically what I wrote down for what can I do to spend more time on meaningful stuff. I put down like less technology, so like technology can be like a really big thing because unless you're like building a website or something like that that's gonna outlast you, you're just basically wasting time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to be really humble and tell you guys something that I have struggled with. So, probably a couple months ago, I let my son Trip download. I never ever download games or anything like that onto my phone because it's distracting, right? Well, he asked if he could download one of those color by number things just so that it would help him, give him something to do during church, but he would still be listening. You know how sometimes you have to kind of keep fingers busy, but there's listening. And so I said, fine. And he could do that. Well, so that went by for a few weeks and he did really great. And we would just, after church, he never played with it anymore. Well, one Sunday he did a really big one. And in the middle of church, he handed it to me and said, it's too big. I don't want to do this one here. You do it. And so I sat and started doing it. Well, guess what? Then I had to finish it. Then I noticed all the pictures that he'd only done little bits of, and then I had to finish all those ones. So guess how much time I've been wasting doing all these other pictures that I didn't need to be doing. So that's what I wrote down today, is that I'm going to go after class and delete that off my phone because it's wasting my time. It's not even, Trip hasn't even asked for it for the last couple of Sundays, but I'm the one still doing it. So I am taking it back off my phone. It is distracting. And you guys can judge me if you want to, because really, I shouldn't have been doing it in the first place, but I got caught up in silly things. So that's me. Would anybody else like to share what I like how Erin helped us move on to that second question. What actions are we going to take to help us to focus on more meaningful things? Does anybody have any thoughts? Nobody has anything that they're going to choose to spend more time on to create more meaning? Bryn?
Well, I think I already kind of said this, but I think I could spend more time on my scriptures. And I think I could, because we have this pilot program and it's 8th grade seminary. And anyways, we've been talking about like trying to squeeze the verses like oranges. And I think I could definitely work on doing that instead of just trying to read to say, oh, I read my scriptures today. So I think I'm going to work on that this week.
That's a really great idea. I love that thought too, of visualizing that you're squeezing juice out of an orange. Like, what am I getting out of that scripture that I just read? I love that, Bryn. Anybody else? Jacoby.
What I wrote down is focusing on making Christ and God the center of my life, because I feel like I need to do that better so that then they can help me to do what they want me to do, and will help me have meaning and purpose.
Yeah, I love that. And you're right, it does. Being Christ-centered makes a huge difference on everything else we do. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to let Julie take over so that we can talk about the Live It for a minute before it's time to go.
Which is exactly what we've been talking about. So get your sticky notes out and put the one thing that you want to work on this week. You might have a list of 3 or 4 that you could do, but choose one of those that you feel like you can do and write it on your sticky note right now. I'm already ahead of you and I've already written it down. So it's that add one meaningful activity to your daily routine and report it to someone you trust. So you can report it to us next week, or you can report it to whoever you trust at home. Either way, whether it's your journal or your parent, it's always good to share things, I think, with a parent. It kind of helps them to see that you are growing and learning, and it kind of motivates them to want to change too. Okay, tell me when you're done. Just put done in the chat when you're done, Dee. Okay, we got a couple of you dunning right now. Have you ever heard of that word? It's a made up word just now. Okay, the second thing we get to do, and this is really kind of exciting. We get to go to the back of the book to this one. As a creator, I do only what is most essential. So that's going to help us as well. So pull that out and hang it up somewhere that you can use as a reminder that you are going to just focus on the essential things that give you meaning. Okay. I think there will be times where you fall and you do things that are not essential, but this will help to remind you, yeah, I don't want to go there. I don't want to do any more paint by numbers. That was cute. All right, anybody have any questions for what we're going to do next week? We are actually, yes, we are reading Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim. Yay! So that's what you get to do this coming week. And remember to write your 5 types of questions. Yay! Did you see how simple those questions can be today when we talked about meaning? They can be that simple. So go ahead and enjoy Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim. Look for all sorts of good attitudes and bad attitudes and all the things that we've been studying all year long. Okay, look for those. And we'll see you next Wednesday at 8:45 a.m. for Mountain Daylight Savings Time people. For Aaron, 9:45, right? Are you 1 hour different? Okay, see you all. Thank you.